You will see costumes the likes of which you will not believe.
DragonCon 2017 drew over 80,000 people to downtown Atlanta for a celebration of science fiction, fantasy, gaming, film, and so much more. It's the first of its kind to combine fandoms and genres into one single convention. Festivities include costume contests, gaming tournaments, and a huge parade where you're bound to see all of your favorite characters. Every Labor Day weekend, thousands flock here from all around the world to join in. GSU TV met up with president and co-founder Pat Henry, who agreed to show us around the massive event.
Hello, my name's Pat Henry. I'm the president of DragonCon. Welcome to DragonCon. It's our 31st year. Oh, this room this is registration. Everybody comes through here. Behind me is the pre-bought registration. We have over 40,000 people that have already bought their badges, and they pick up in here. We can go through over 2,000 an hour. Last year we brought $75 million into the city of Atlanta, and over the past, I guess, 5 or 6 years, $350 million into the city of Atlanta. So we have roughly over 5,000 hotel rooms a night, and it's a lot of revenue. I think the projected growth this year was 82,000, so next year maybe 85,000, then 90,000.
Today, DragonCon is a household name among convention goers, but that wasn't always the case. Henry and his fellow co-founders started by chipping in only $300 each, but they knew that Atlanta was the perfect city to bring their convention dreams to life.
The event here in Atlanta is particularly strong because in 1985 there was the World Science Fiction Convention here, and Atlanta is a wonderful city. The tolerance here is incredible, and where else could a bunch of nerds and geeks get together without being judged? Atlanta is the place.
The first DragonCon, held in 1987, brought in just over 1,000 people. But that number doubled the following year, and attendance has been booming ever since.
So in the next 3 to 5 years, we may get up to as many as 100,000.
What started in the Marriott Marquis now fills the America's Mart building and 7 hotels.
They actually built the bridge between the Hilton and the Marriott, and a couple of years later, the Hyatt wanted in, and so they built the bridge to the Marriott. And so now it's tremendous. We've got all 3 hotels, all confined space, no rain, air conditioning. I love Atlanta. This is originally where the guys in the floor costumes, the Marriott floor costumes, got in trouble because they blended into the floor. And so that was on the copyright infringement, and it was just beautiful. You could look and you could see the shadows, but you couldn't tell there were people there. The best part of DragonCon is the ability to gather with friends and people that you have similar interests with. You may not know them, but you know them. Where else can you get to 80,000 of your closest friends over a Labor Day weekend and hang out?
Longtime DragonCon performer and attendee Aurelio Voltaire certainly agrees.
Amongst all of the conventions in the world, one of the very greatest ones is DragonCon. So I lobbied really, really hard to play here 19 years ago, and I was very lucky that they selected me to perform here, and now I've performed here every year for 19 years in a row. One of the things about DragonCon that makes it very different from other conventions is that it never shuts down. A lot of other conventions like San Diego Comic-Con, for instance, you may have 80,000 people, but they're all in a convention center. And at 6 p.m. when that convention center closes, everyone leaves. At DragonCon, it's spread out over a series of hotels, and there's programming almost 24 hours a day. At 4 in the morning, you could go to a ballroom and go to a rave.
Speaking of programming, costume contests are a major event here, and the contestants show off their amazing cosplays, many of which they make themselves. Wrestling is another one of the many exciting things to see at DragonCon. Once you've seen enough physical fighting, you can head over to the gaming floor where hundreds of battles take place across the computer and television screens. If you're not a video gamer expert, don't worry. The completely volunteer-run convention is filled with people willing to help you out.
I'm Joshua Willis from United Gaming League. I'm a shoutcaster. I help people get into the know, make sure that they understand every little detail, every little nuanced decision that is made by the players on stage, and I make sure I break it down in a way that is easy for everyone to understand. Because a lot of people, it's a lot to digest. Some people think they're just pushing buttons, but everything that they do has a strategic meaning behind it, and I try to bring all of that character and all of that development that they've done so hard in the training, and I try to bring that out and bring it to the people.
Besides console and computer games, there's also an antique arcade floor, board and card game station, and even virtual reality simulators.
I walked over here and I was like, oh man, I used to watch like giant robot shows growing up as a little kid, and I was like, oh, that'd be really cool to pilot one of those. I'd never actually done anything like that before, getting inside and doing the little virtual mech pilot simulation. That was pretty neat. Everybody over here who runs this whole mech crew outfit's really nice. They'll show you how to do it. It took a few minutes to get ready and get trained and get in there.
There are also tons of panels featuring the actors and creators in your favorite sci-fi and fantasy films. You can be sure to find lively conversations happening outside of the panels as well.
We can get into discussions the likes of which normal people would think were dull. For instance, who would want to fight? Hulk or Thor? That could be something that could go on for hours and a discussion. And of course, Thor's a god and has the hammer, but Hulk, madder he gets, stronger he gets. So just to help you out, the correct answer is Hulk.
Then there's the merch floor, where you can buy souvenirs from nearly all of your favorite games, movies, and comic books.
We have a DragonCon store where people can buy their DragonCon memorabilia. This year's souvenir shirt, coffee mugs, koozies, expected memorabilia.
As if it couldn't get any more amazing, the entire convention is for a good cause.
This year, our charity is Special Olympics. We do, each year we pick one charity and we do a match of $50,000 to money raised. Last year we raised $104,000 for the Atlanta Center for Self-Sufficiency, and we're looking to do at least $100,000 for Special Olympics this year. And additionally, with what's going on with Hurricane Harvey, we're going to also donate $25,000 to the Houston area.
But despite all the events, it wouldn't be DragonCon without cosplay.
The Red Woman.
Cosplaying is dressing up as a character from a book, movie, or video game. You can make your own original characters as well. And cosplayers take their costumes very seriously. Like this guy. Keep in mind, this con took place in September 2017.
I started working on it August of 2016. This is the largest costume that I've made so far. I love it because I was able to try out moving animatronics to move the head. This suit weighs around 40 to 50 pounds. I've seen some better costumes, but but it's very nice with people wanting to take pictures of me.
So I came here about 4 years ago for the first time, fell in love with it, and been coming ever since. It's a totally different con than all the other ones, which all the other ones are centered at like a convention center somewhere. This was amongst like 4 or 5 hotels, and it's more of a party atmosphere. People are very friendly here. They really, really do a lot of work on their costumes, and there's just an amazing amount of people here. Man of Steel, I just got this one about 4 years ago, sort of coming apart, but I wanted to do one that coincided with the movie. So I got this one made for me. And then when the new Wonder Woman came out, my wife Kim, she does Wonder Woman with the old style. And I said, well, let's do the one for the new movie. So we got her a costume from the new movie.
I just think the atmosphere is more relaxed. You don't have the giant crush of people. I mean, there's a lot of people here, but the way that it's set up, it's spread out enough to where you can walk around, you can have a good time, and you don't feel like you're packed in like sardines. Everybody's very friendly, and yeah, the atmosphere is just a lot of fun. I didn't even know what this was when I met him, what cosplay was, so I've been learning about it, and it's a lot of fun. So, you know, costumes just kind of come. We always get ideas of what couple costume we do. Actually, we always do couple cosplay. I love it. I love it. It's like, when it, especially like you have like little kids come up to you, Wonder Woman, let me get a picture with you. You know, all the little girls and stuff. I think that's really cool.
It's normal for cosplayers to spend months getting ready for Dragon Con, even if they're not participating in a costume contest. The oohs and ahs of the other con-goers are enough reward for most. Getting your photos taken is a key part of the cosplay experience. After all, what's the point of dressing up if there's no one to see you? At Dragon Con, cosplayers have a designated space to do just that.
This is called the floor. This is actually the atrium level of the Marriott across from the Pulse Bar. But for the cosplayers, this is where they get their floor time. And every cosplayer wants a certain amount of floor time. I'll ask them to do stuff for me, and that, okay, but don't let it interfere with floor time. It's awesome.
Everyone has a different reason for choosing a character to cosplay, but you can be sure to find some of the most amazing costumes all over the city during Dragon Con.
I've done Maleficent, Pennywise, I've done Doctor Strange, I've done Aliens, there's a whole bunch of stuff. The caliber of cosplay is on a different level here.
This was about 2 months worth of work. Yeah, the mask is cast out of silicone, and then all the clothing is replica period. So the jacket is all leather, and my suit is all wool, which is accurate to the period. The belt buckle I just made myself. It's laser etched on just a metal standard buckle.
So my costume is Mantis from Guardians of the Galaxy, and when I saw her reinterpretation of the movies, I fell in love with her. She means a lot to me because she is partial Vietnamese, and I'm Vietnamese, and there's not a lot of, Vietnamese characters around, so I was like, I had to do this. Dragon Con was my first con ever, and I fell in love. There's no better one in my opinion.
My character is Davros from the Doctor Who British sci-fi series, and Davros is from the planet of Khaled, and it is the creator of the Dalek Empire. It's just a fun character for me to do. Everybody does the Doctor, everybody does companions, a lot of Daleks, but not many Davros. It took approximately 8 weeks working in the workshop, a lot of woodwork, a lot of Bondo from cars, painting, sanding. There's a world of possibilities for handicapped or wheelchair-bound people. It's just amazing. I've seen a bulldozer. I mean, don't let being wheelchair-bound keep you from being creative and having fun.
My name is Vermgar the Gargoyle King, and I would like to say that I'm in charge of the Netherworld, but there's some debate around here in those parts.
I figured I want to do something the locals would recognize and not just the geeks.
I'm Junkrat from Overwatch, because he's so different from how I look on a day-to-day basis, but personality-wise, we're both really rambunctious and high energy. So I thought it'd be fun to, play a character I can embody, but that looks completely different.
In 2012, I got a kidney and a pancreas transplant, and in the real world, outside the con, life is sometimes a struggle. I'm on dialysis this year, waiting for another kidney, and we brought our dialysis machine. We did dialysis Friday morning in the room, and when we get here at the con, it's exactly what cosplay is about for us. The whole world and all of the problems and all the struggles we go through melt away. We get at Dragon Con, I get to obviously be something that's not reality. I get to shed it away and get to be whatever I want. So it's very inspiring for us to see everybody come out and all the kids walking around and being inspired. And the struggles of life are tough sometimes. You get to Dragon Con, you get to be on stilts and do all this, and you really get to be whoever you want to be, and you get to overcome a lot of things.
Even if you don't see a cosplay of your favorite character strutting through the convention halls, there's one event where you're almost sure to find them all. Dragon Con's Saturday Parade. It's the only event you don't need a convention pass for, which means it's completely free for the public to attend. Registration for those who want to walk in the parade open 8 months before the con. Spots fill up fast, and there's even a wait list. But whether you're marching or keeping an eye out for the most loved cosplayers, it's one of the best events the entire con has to offer. Seen enough of DragonCon to pique your interest but nervous about attending? Have no fear. The convention staff has a group just for you.
This is a newbie group. It's DragonCon 101, where people can sign up and we take them around DragonCon and show them what's where and various things so they'll know what's going on at DragonCon.
Plus, you'll almost certainly find something you're passionate about.
I'm very broad when it comes to my interests. Like, I love Star Wars. Star Wars is my first geek love, but I love everything from fantasy to sci-fi to anime. And so it gives me kind of the opportunity to kind of sample everything.
We've got David Greasy. There you go. Cool. Very nice, very nice. How long did it take you to put that? It took me about a month. About a month. All right, cool. And was it this foam? Yeah, it's construction foam. You did see PVC linen. Very cool. Very clever. Well done. So, why this character? He's got a cool sword. Can't argue with that. So, how long did this take you guys to make?
About 170 hours.
That sounds like a lot. Tell me a little bit about the hair, the wig work, and so on.
It was my first time doing something this complex. I learned how to make prosthetics, and I learned a lot about how to make victory rolls for hair from the 1940s, so that was pretty cool. I did a lot of individual, like, sewing little tiny hairs into the wig to make sure it kind of had more of a natural hairline, and it drove me insane, so I lost my memory.
Okay. All right. Very, very cool. So why these characters?
To keep it family friendly, they're BAMS. Yeah.
All right. You're
Same.
When choosing a costume, just go for what you love and maybe bring a friend for some extra confidence.
I'm shy, but Freakazoid is not shy, you know? This was one of my favorite cartoons growing up. Yeah.
I used to come home and say, oh, Freakazoid. And then plus, I never seen a Freakazoid cosplay. So I was like, yo, I gotta do it.
We were roommates freshman year, and we've been cosplaying together for 5 years now. And we just so happened to come this time. We both like these characters, so we decided to come together as the pair, who in game are also like a pair.
Superhero costumes rarely disappoint.
You can't argue with an idea.
Even if you're still not convinced, here's some advice from the DragonCon experts.
4 in the morning, you could go to a ballroom and go to a rave. You could go see a band perform. There's probably somebody speaking somewhere on Doctor Who or Star Trek or Star Wars or something like that. And if there's no official programming, you're almost certain to find some people in costumes having a drum circle around a pool somewhere. So it's a 96-hour-long party that never ends. Those of us who have been coming for years, we affectionately call it Nerdy Gras. You could look at it as like Burning Man for geeks. But there's nothing else like it, really. You're going down the escalator at 4 in the morning, and you have a Klingon behind you, and you have Darth Vader in front of you. Most people are in costumes. Most people are dancing, they're drinking, they're having fun. It's just an enormous party.
My whole family is just a bunch of like nerdy cosplayers, so I've been doing conventions for about 20 years. The DragonCon experience is not about like the year and what's going on, it's who you go with. So like it really, you know, if you go with the right friends, you're gonna have a great time. Go to the panels you want to go to, do the costumes you want to do too. Don't try to overdo it. A lot of people whip out their most exaggerated costumes for DragonCon. I just try to keep it simple.
4 years I've been volunteering and 71 events under my belt. I'll do this till I drop.
But no matter what you wear or who you go with, you're sure to find a welcoming community and a weekend full of fun events that even non-nerds can enjoy.
The people here are so wonderful. I mean, you get into crowded elevators, but people aren't gouging each other and pushing. People wait in line, and we're really an amazing group of people. If we put down a piece of tape and ask people to stay to the right of the tape, they're going to. We're an incredibly happy crowd. We're happy to be here, and we're happy to be with our people.
People are so kind here. That's probably my favorite thing. Is like it doesn't matter how well you know somebody or how well you don't. If people are just so kind here, and people just compliment you all the time, and people are just so happy.
Things could get a little weird.
It's nuts.
But embrace that and have fun with it.
Sunglasses is completely necessary to hide the hangover.
Took it out for a spin because Batman was on vacation.